Are you new to vaping? Do terms like mod, tanks, RTAs, airflow, milliamp hours, drip tips confuse you? That's what this video is for. Let's start with the basics. Firstly, there's the mod and the tank. These are the two main components of a vaporizer. The mod holds the battery and the tank holds the liquid and the coil. The coil is the heating element that vaporizes the liquid for you to inhale. Every coil has a resistance as measured in ohms. The resistance of the coil basically determines how quickly it will heat up and vaporize the liquid. Generally, a lower resistance will create more vapor and a higher resistance less. On the very top of the tank is what's called the drip tip, and this is simply the mouthpiece. The most common size referred to is a 510 drip tip. Drip tips can also determine your vapor production, but so can airflow. Airflow is basically how much outside air you're letting into the tank and passing through the coil. Some tanks will have adjustable airflow and some tanks will not. Now, if you don't want a traditional tank with a little disposable coil head, you can use what is called a rebuildable atomizer. Firstly, there's RTA, and that stands for Rebuildable Tank Atomizer. It's the same concept as a regular tank that you fill up with e-liquid and vape, except you prepare the coil yourself and set up the cotton and everything. Same thing applies to an RDA, and that stands for Rebuildable Dripping Atomizer. The difference between RDA and RTA is that with a rebuildable dripping atomizer, commonly referred to as just a dripper, you actually directly drip the liquid onto the coils and vape them until they go dry, as opposed to filling up a tank with e-liquid. Both RTAs and RDAs fall under the umbrella of RBA, which simply means rebuildable atomizer. When it comes to battery life, that's where milliamp hours come into play. The milliamp hour rating of a battery simply refers to how long it will last. How much you need is subjective, but basically the higher the number, the longer your battery will last. And finally, there's a relatively new term in vaping, and that is pod systems. Pod systems are the newest form of starter kits in vaping, and they're basically small devices closer to the size of a cigarette with a slot that you install either a pod or a cartridge that's pre-filled with e-liquid, normally at a very high nicotine strength. There are many other words, terms, phrases in this community, but those are some basic ones that should help you get started. Thank you for watching.